Bus drivers of Reddit, what is something you wish customers knew or would do more? Fear not answering, because there do not speak to the driver sign is up. Don't make me tap the sign again. And this bus ain't moving until you get behind the line. Get back behind the line. Is this regional? IDK if I've ever seen that sign or noticed that bus drivers won't talk to people. Yes, we don't have them in Australia and most people say something like thanks, mate when they get out of the bus. A few people even have a proper conversation with the driver and even end up making friends with them if they are regularly on that bus. I think in the States it's usually framed as a safety concern. Generally a driver distracted by conversation is more dangerous than one paying full attention to the road. I've never seen a sign in the States personally. Usually people have conversations the entire bus ride from my experience. Maybe some parts of the US has a sign though. I used to be a bus driver years ago. I usually found other drivers far more annoying than passengers, but one thing I disliked was when a long line of people would get on and each ask where the bus was going. Like, there's a sign on the outside of the bus that tells you this, and B you just heard 10 other people ask that question and get exactly the same answer. I think a lot of you are misunderstanding what I'm saying. There is a big difference to me, at least between asking where does this bus go, which is very frustrating, and asking does this bus go to some specific place, which is fine. I don't ask where the bus is going, I ask if the bus stops on a specific stop on the route. I don't ask, because I don't know the route. I always search the route online beforehand. I ask because different buses go to the same destination via different routes and I wanna make sure I get on the right bus. Maybe there should be a sign with that as well. My dad isn't a commercial bus driver, but a school one. If them kids could just sit in front, like he asked, that'd be great. What's the reason they have to sit in the front? I've never heard of that. And take a school bus twice a day. My bus drivers used to ask problem kids to sit up front, easier to keep an eye on them. Same here. It was a punishment in their minds, because the back of the bus was a cool place to sit. Plus you'd get way more air every time we'd go over a bump if you were sitting in the back. I remember being confused as a child for this reason when I learned about Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat and sit in the back of the bus. Why wouldn't she want to sit in the back? It's the best place to sit. Same here lol. Every day we'd try to be at the front of the bus line so we could get to the back first and sit on our backpacks for extra height. Kids are only allowed to exit the front door of the bus for safety reasons. Most buses will have signs stating this. Not sure if it is an actual legal requirement or just a policy by bus companies. As a bus rider, people need to stop playing their music. This goes for all transport though. I don't want to hear your music out loud. There's earphones, headphones for a reason. But how else can they let the world know their love for super tinny hip hop and mumble rapping? Mumble rap bad, mumble rap bad, mumble rap bad. As a non-native speaker I'm having a hard time trying to repeat this sentence fast. Record yourself trying, and you could be a mumble rapper. As a native speaker I'm having a hard time trying to repeat this sentence fast. Ladies and gentlemen, our new #1 hit single is MMBLRP bad, MMBLRP bad, MMBLRP bad. Spent 10 racks on a new chain. It's interesting that the type of music is universal in this situation. Clean up after yourselves. My dad services buses for the CTA here in Chicago and the amount of nasty things he's had to clean up for people is insane. Things like condoms, rotten food, he's even found used needles once. Please remember that the bus is not your personal trash can. Someone has to clean that mess up. Aside from that he loves his job though, and even got to do the holiday bus one year. Here he is dressed up as an elf for it. I always get a kick out of the CTA holiday bus train. I'm generally impressed with how clean the CTA is considering the level of disrespect some people have. Gotta appreciate the people who clean those messes up every day. Thank your dad for all of us. Wholesome props to your dad. I ride CTA buses every day. Also, I absolutely love the holiday buses and trains. I hope your dad knows people appreciate what he does. Before leaving the bus, please thank the bus drivers. Greet the bus driver when entering the bus. At least do the nod. Maybe a smile if you're nice. Words don't necessarily need to be exchanged. Again, good night. Yeah, nah, can't complain. As an Aussie, I feel proud to understand those first two words without even a second glance. I mean, I do both by default: Aussie greeting hey mate or daj mate, Aussie goodbye thanks mate. Yeah, nothing wrong with a classic cheers as you're hopping off. Yeah, nothing wrong with that also. What I've learned in this thread is that there is no ideal world for bus drivers and passengers to coexist. Sad but true, war is the only option now. I wonder if it's a British thing, but whenever get the bus, we don't stand in line or form an orderly queue, rather just mill around or stand wherever. However, while doing that, we will have taken note of exactly who was there before we were. So when the bus arrives, a queue will spontaneously form with everyone in the exact order of arrival. Bus rider here, if you're paying cash, especially with coins, you get to go on last. Let the people who swipe or tap get on first. Also, if you're getting on a bus, stand back and make sure nobody is getting off. Stand about 3 feet back from the door so that I have enough room to get off, and go left or right. If you need the first stop after a turn, do it when the bus finishes the turn. There's a certain sweet spot to pulling the cord, that you want it to be far enough away that the driver can stop easily, but close enough that they don't forget. You get on in the order you arrived at the stop, no exceptions. The queue may not be a neat line, but it is your responsibility to make sure you board in the correct order. The bus will still leave at the same time, no matter which sequence you follow getting on. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. There is no correct order to boarding a bus other than how the driver wants to accommodate the disabled riders. No, but a bit of respect for others. If I've been waiting 20 minutes, I think it's reasonable I get on and get a seat before someone who showed up 1 minute before the bus. I'm from Finland and I didn't know people acted this bad on buses in the US. Here usually nobody says a word and everyone is quiet on the bus. People don't block old people with bags. There is no screaming kids. We have really good transportation systems, I guess. If you want the bus to stop at the next stop, you press a stop button located next to every seat to alert the driver. Everyone knows if you have change, not a pass, to go in last. I'm from Finland. Here usually nobody says a word and everyone is quiet. This is also my experience with Finland. Yeah, it's like that in the US 99% of the time too. This is a thread with a specific purpose of voicing out your concerns. It's not the whole picture, just the negative one. I wish people would give the bus driver $100 as a tip for no reason more often. Nice try, bus driver. Do people tip bus drivers? They do, at least in the UK. Not on public transport buses, but when you go for a trip in a tour bus, someone usually collects money from everyone on the bus to tip the driver. The bus drivers in Massachusetts are better off than 95% of the people they are busing around. They get a full pension after something like 20 years of service. It's bankrupted the entire system, but the bus drivers should be the ones giving out free money. I drove for my college's transportation system, so there were no fares to ride. One thing that's a given on most public transportation systems is the courtesy of letting the people currently on the bus get off before you try to get on. This was very difficult for college kids for some reason, and it was compounded by the fact that you can board through both the front and the back door, so we'd have people trying to squeeze their way on at both doors, while there were still people getting off. It's a pipe dream, but that problem would go away completely if everyone would just board in the front and exit in the back. Such a simple solution that sadly will never ever happen, because people are too, insert adjective. Also, when you get on the bus, or are already on it, and the bus is getting full so you're standing, and there are more people coming on, move toward the back. I had to sit there and talk to these people of all ages like children. Please move back and make room, because they simply were unaware that they were standing directly in the way of like 20 people trying to board when there's still plenty of room on the bus. I guess, if I can sum it all up, just pay attention and realize that you're not the only person on the bus. Other drivers are typically more annoying for me. The customers I deal with are relatively fine for the most part. They are mostly college kids just going to class. What they can do is this: if I'm making an announcement on the PA, it might be extremely important these kids hop on the bus with their earbuds in, or they are staring at their phone not paying attention. Transfers are missed because they simply don't hear me announce a transfer point. I've had times where I've had to announce detours and I get complaints that they weren't informed. When I'm running extras and I go out of service at a certain spot, not only do I have to deal with trying to get people to read my huge "not in service" sign on the outside, I have to try and get the people off of my bus so I can go to my next extra. The stragglers didn't hear my announcement that I was not going beyond a certain point. Listen to your bus driver when they are talking, kids. If it's a bus stop with multiple routes, please wave me off. If you don't want to get on my bus, pulling to the curb and then re-entering traffic is time consuming and dangerous. Please don't stand at the edge of the curb for the bus. Most large buses have their wheels behind the first 3 to 4 feet. If the bus body to get completely out of traffic and enter the stop, I must often swing the bus nose over the curb. You can be bumped by the mirror or hit by the bus bumper. Please get out of the way. We cannot pick you up if you aren't at the stop. Seriously, we can be reprimanded or fired for such action. Don't get mad. Sounds weird, but I spent most of my life scared of bus drivers because whenever I got on the bus, the driver seemed in a bad mood and was mean towards me. I know not all bus drivers are like that, but it made me stop taking the bus and using Lyft instead.